we are back, and today I'm dropping my Bronny James build. This is going to be a crazy two-way 6'4" guard. This build can honestly do a little bit of everything, but the defense makes this really special, especially on a 6'4" guard. You don't see it too often. With Bronny declaring for the draft, I had to get him in 2K, make a build as close to his playstyle as I could. Watch this one all the way through. It matches up with him really good. Before we get started, drop a like, drop a sub, turn the notifications on, and without further ado, let's get right into this build. Alright, getting right into it, starting with the physical attributes. For Bronny James, we're going point guard, 6'4", 199 pounds with a 6'11" wingspan. Like I say in all my build videos, I want to make this as close to Bronny as I can, but I still want to make it good in the game. And trust me, this is a very good 6'4" guard, and it also matches up with Bronny very closely. Not going to sit and talk too much about the physicals though, let's get right into the attributes. Alright, starting out with the finishing, you know Bronny can dunk. He's not doing anything too crazy in games, but we had to get him that 80 driving dunk, which honestly in 2K can get you some pretty wild dunk animations. It gets you a lot of the really cheesy ones, but if you want to do some flashy stuff, you can throw those park dunks on. 80 is more than enough to dunk super consistently this year. 66 driving layup, not crazy high. Bronny's probably better than that in real life, but that's what we're going to go with in the game. And then a 48 standing dunk. Everybody knows standing dunk's broken this year. You're going to be throwing down standing dunks like crazy, especially being 6'4". Honestly, not too much to say about the finishing, but as you can see, it's pretty solid. Let's get on to the shooting. Alright, on to the shooting. Everybody that watches him knows Bronny's a very good three-point shooter, a really good catch-and-shoot player, a super solid 3-and-D guard. So you already know we had to give him that 86 3 ball. This is going to get him badges like Silver Agent 3s, Silver Blinders, Limitless Range, Gold Catch-and-Shoot, which is really his specialty. But even though that's what he's good at, this build is going to be able to shoot off the dribble really well also. 71 mid-range, you're still going to be able to knock it down really consistently, and you're going to get bronze midi magician, so you're going to be able to shoot those pretty good. And then silver open looks to wrap up the shooting attributes. Honestly, one of the best badges this year. If you're taking open shots, you're going to make them very consistently on this build. And then 70 free throw. If you played the game, you know it's not super important to have that really high. You can hit them consistently either way. Again, very solid in shooting. As you can see, the first two categories, this build's going to be super well-rounded. Just wait till we get to the defense. That's where it's really going to shine. But let's get on to the playmaking for now. Alright, on to the playmaking. We're going to go with an 86 ball handle, 83 speed with ball. 83 speed with ball is honestly just to get whatever dribble style you're going to want. 86 ball handle unlocks a ton of super effective dribble moves. If you guys want to know what I'm using for this build, drop a comment and I can show you what I use on my 86 ball handle guard. Also, this gets you silver speed booster instead of gold, but I've used both this year and the difference isn't that huge. Especially on a little 6'4" guard, you're still going to be flying around. And to make this fit Bronny as close as we could, we know he's not out here dribbling like Kyrie or Steph, but he is still a solid ball handler. I think 86 is very fitting for this build. And then we rounded out the playmaking with a 70 pass accuracy. I've said it on literally every build video I've made all year. 70 is all you're going to need. Obviously, if you're playing like 5s in the Pro-Am or 5s in the rec main point guard, you're going to want that a little bit higher, but 70 is going to do pretty much everything you need it to. And I really don't like wasting attributes putting that up any higher. Alright, through the first three categories, we're looking very well-rounded. Definitely looking like a Bronny James build. Just wait till you see this defense. Let's get into it right now. Alright, on to the defense. This is where this build gets really crazy. As you can see, 85 perimeter, 91 steals, 68 block. 85 perimeter is honestly super underrated this year. Silver clamps, if you know what you're doing, you're going to be able to bump the guard or bump whoever's dribbling every time. If you're even okay at defense, it's going to be more than enough. 91 steal, super overpowered. You tap X, you get a steal 75% of the time. That's going to make this build a menace on defense. 68 block on a point guard. Nobody's really talking about it, but it is super cheap, and it helps you get a ton of contests in the paint and chase downs. That 68 block is really what makes this different from a lot of other guards. Looking at these defensive stats as a whole, though, you saw how well-rounded the build was altogether. This is one of those kind of builds that you can play with randoms, you can play with your friends, because it can do a little bit of everything. You're not a liability on defense. You can ISO, you can be the main guard if you need to. You can shoot consistently, you can finish at the rim. I'm telling you, if you want a fun, smaller guard that can do everything, this is the build for you. That's going to wrap it up for the defense, so let's get on to the physicals. Alright, getting into the physicals, we went with an 87 speed, 77 acceleration. If you haven't heard, 77 acceleration is only good to get the badges, but it's not really that important in actually doing something for you. What I mean by that is it's not going to help your speed boost very much. It's only going to help if you're standing still, not dribbling, and taking off that first step. So we did not need to get that very high. We went with speed instead, which is a much more important attribute. And it's still going to unlock us that silver speed booster and all the dribbling badges we're going to need. And then we went with a 50 strength to get the defensive badges that we need. 75 vertical to get any of the finishing animations and badges that we might need. And then we went ahead and maxed that stamina out at 99. I do that with every build, put it as high as you can. You don't want to get tired. Especially if you're running the main guard, you want as much stamina as you possibly can. That's going to wrap it up for the physicals and the build as a whole. Let's get on to the build name and comparisons. All right, as you can see, we are going to be a 3-point threat with shades of De'Aaron Fox, Lonzo Ball, and Kirk Heinrich. Honestly, a very catfish name because this build is good at defense and you get the 3-point threat name. You're going to have a ton of fun with this one. I hope y'all enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.